a place you've definitely found yourself in before, and that I've definitely been in, is kind of the desire to want to learn multiple languages at the same time, or not being able to choose between two or three languages of which one is actually like the best and the one that you actually want to learn. So we're basically going to talk about in this video how to balance learning multiple languages. Is it a good idea? And some tips and tricks to actually help basically satisfy you and to learn as efficiently as possible. So you really have kind of two options we'll start with. And the reason I'm starting with this is because I don't want to waste your time and talk about how to learn multiple languages at the same time if it isn't actually a good idea for you. So you literally have two options. You can either learn one language at a time, or you can continue and try and balance learning multiple languages. I will say from the beginning, because I'm not going to lie to you, if you want to master one language as quickly as possible, do one. You are never going to learn multiple languages at the same time quicker than you can learn one. I don't even think, maybe some expert who's already learned a bunch of really similar languages might be able to, but there is just no instance where someone would ever be able to learn more than one language quicker than you could learn one. It really wouldn't happen. So if your goal is literally to become fluent in a language, I would highly recommend you literally, I keep saying, it's hard to say because I don't want to let anyone down by telling them to do something that's going to make them feel bad. But if you want to master one language, you really do need to commit to one. If you're not as kind of hell-bent on becoming proficient in one language, you either want to kind of bounce around, have some fun, or you just want to kind of learn a few different languages at the same speed. You're not concerned with learning as quickly as possible, then potentially you could balance learning multiple languages. And the good thing is you can switch between these whenever you want. If you want to learn a few different languages at the same time for now and potentially commit to one later, that's absolutely fine. If you want to focus on one language now and take a break from it whenever you want, that's also fine. Although I will say it will slow you down with learning that language if you're taking breaks from it, but it's up to you. I'm just going to give you the truth, arm you with the facts, and you can decide what to do. So now that we've kind of talked about one thing I will say is essentialism. If you haven't heard of the word essentialism, it effectively means that the less priorities you have, the less things you hold essential, the more progress you can make in each of them. And that applies to language learning as well. So if you want to learn a language as quick as possible, you obviously need to have less languages you're focusing on. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's actually talk about how you can balance multiple languages if that is what you're deciding to do. So if you want to learn multiple languages at the same time, the first thing you need to do is decide on your goals and basically prioritize which language is more important and that kind of thing. So why do you actually want to learn these languages? Are they equally important? Is one of them more important? Is your interest in them purely kind of like an emotional, you just kind of like the language, or do you actually have a genuine reason to learn the language? Like, for example, work, for family, to travel there, etc. This kind of exercise is literally just, it's not an exercise, but it's just, you need to kind of understand why you're doing something, because if you don't have an actual set reason as to why you're doing something, it's very easy to lose motivation. It's very easy to find yourself lost, wondering why you even started doing it in the first place. So basically, if you want to, I'd recommend grabbing a pen and paper, honestly, and journaling a bit, but just kind of writing down why you want to learn these languages, what's in it for you, etc. And once you've actually decided how important they are in comparison to each other, I need you to actually not give yourself a strict plan, but basically to come up with an idea of how much time you want to invest into each language. If you want to learn both of the languages or whatever languages you're learning pretty quick, you're obviously going to need to invest more time into each of them. So decide which one is, more useful. Are you going to use it more? Do you like it more? Is it easier? You could potentially learn it quicker, etc. Just basically go through all of that. And then I want you to basically figure out what you're actually going to do to learn each of these languages, because obviously we're talking about balance in this video. I don't want you to burn out learning multiple languages, but you do need to understand that when you're balancing multiple languages, it is certainly more difficult than learning one. So if you'd like to, something you can do, for example, is have a main language and have another one on the back burner, or you can try and do both 50-50, but just designate yourself a few study sessions each week for both of the languages. Try and consume some content in both of them. And we do talk about on this channel a lot, trying to do something every single day in the language you're learning, but that can be difficult when you're doing more than one. So kind of just figure out what is going to work for you in regards to how much studying you can do for each language. And ultimately, more studying is going to result in you learning the language faster. But it's all about, life balance. You can't be burning out doing something that isn't particularly enjoyable because you want to learn 5 languages very, very quickly. That's not going to happen. But yeah, it is difficult to kind of tell you what to do because there's so many different circumstances. If you do want more help, you can join our Discord, which is in the description below. It's completely free. I can actually give you kind of one-on-one help with the languages you're learning. But yeah, I also have a link in the description to the Language Learning Accelerator, which is the course I've built. If you want to have a look at that, it's for beginner learners, and I'd highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, if you do like this kind of content, definitely subscribe. But thank you for watching, and have a good one.